All right, Pitmasters, we're doing it live tonight. We got Chris Webb from Bushmaster BBQ on here. We're going to talk about his new Brawler rub. This stuff, I've tasted it, and it's what you can call epic. My girlfriend Amanda says this is probably her favorite rub of all time. That's pretty big because if you were keen in onto any of my social media, you've seen I probably had about 60, 80 bottles of rub that I went through the other day, and she's tasted all of them. So that's kind of a bold statement she has, and I kind of agree. It is definitely in my top 5 for sure. Derek, welcome this evening. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for choosing podcasting over the presidential debate, which is totally cool. We can watch all the memes roll in tomorrow. They're going to be more epic than the actual watching it. Why, watch an hour and a half when you can just, speed track through memes. It's going to be great.
Right, hard pass. We'll get the cliff notes.
Yeah, we got the brisket and ribs. It's fine. It's totally fine.
There we go.
So, do we have any new events coming up that you have on your radar?
The only ones that are on the radar on the West Coast for this weekend, Trinity County Fair. They have a backyard contest up there, and then also this weekend is I think it's in Hayward, SCA contest, and then later on towards the end of the month, 12 Bridges Rib Cook-Off. It's a one meat KCBS, followed by their actual contest. There's a Ribs and Rhythm Extravaganza in Clarksburg, and then 29th at a Green River Brewing and Tap Room, the Fall Rib Tri-Tip Cook-Off Challenge. And again, those last two are non-sanctioned events. So more of those backyard. I think everybody's just starting to get ready for, you got the Royal at the end of October. You have the Jack coming up. So things like that.
Right. Yeah. And then we got the Chili Cook-Off coming up here on October 26th in the Utah area. So come through on that. And then I had Christy Van over on the show on Sunday talking about wireless thermometers, and she said that she's really has her finger crossed for a possible 4 more spaces for her event. There is a waiting list about it, but Christy, I know you're going to be on here in just a minute, but I think you should just put everybody's name on a roulette wheel and spin it, and those people are in. You're in Vegas. Let's just gamble.
Let it ride.
Just let it ride. Exactly. But she has that one going up. And then also you got to remember that we have, is it Bullhead? That's down there in February in Nevada. So go get signed up for that. That also has a Friday night SCA. So get signed up for that. But other than that,
CBBQ has their contest at the end of January. And that's actually that one is going to be signing up as a double. So a Saturday, Sunday contest.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
So the last weekend of January up in Hollister.
Nice. Yeah, and like I've said before, if you have an event and we can talk about it, just shoot me a message and we'll try to get that on. I'll try to remember it. My memory is very limited sometimes, but it's fine. I try. Yeah. So yeah, and Amanda's telling me I should write things down, which maybe I should. I should get a dry erase board on here with some dates. That's actually not a bad idea. So we're gonna do that. But let's just get to this tasting, man. I'm super excited about it. We all got our favorite whiskeys paired with this because it is Chris Webb, and he's a member of Buzz Crew Barbecue, so we have to hold up to his standards and my standards. So we'll just get it started. So let's just get this going, man.
We call it Thermapen 1, the first true 1-second cooking thermometer. Its unprecedented speed means Thermapen 1's responsiveness approaches the speed of thought. Because when you're plating the perfect menu or smoking the perfect side of barbecue, you don't have time to think about how your instant read thermometer is accurate to 0.5 degrees in 1 second or less, or how rugged and waterproof it is, or how big, elegant and bright the backlit display is. You'll just know it works, because our perfection powers your perfection. Seek perfection with Thermapen 1.
All right, team, here we are tonight. Hey, Derek, we just had Kevin Bledsoe comment on the show. We have the Smoke Out the hub in Compton, so that must be a competition in the LA area. Kevin, let's get you on the show and let's talk about that. Reach out to me in my messenger and we'll bring you on and we'll get that talk. We'll talk about that a little bit.
So I can piggyback on that event because we went to his first one end of July that he hosted, and that thing was phenomenal. So I know he's trying to spread the gospel of barbecue on the West Coast by doing these events. So I think it's a great one to check out.
For sure. And we have Chris Webb. What's up, Chris? How are you tonight, man?
What's up, guys? What's up, man? How we doing?
Hey.
We're doing all right. Hey, Christy, did you catch that intro? What do you think about my idea, just putting everybody's name on a roulette wheel and letting it ride?
Yeah, sure. The next person on the list probably wouldn't be too happy with that, but yeah, we got about 10 to 12 last time I checked on the wait list. So.
Well, the roulette wheel has technically 38 spots, so they can buy extra spots to guarantee that they get in.
There you go.
All right, let's just do it. Let's get going on with this tasting. Let's just start off from the top and talk about who you are, how you're part of the barbecue community, and then we're going to bring in Chris Webb to talk about this brawler. So, Derek, you're there. Go ahead and fire away, man.
Derek Walls. I cook with my teammate Brian with West Coast Barbecue Shop. Started off as a CBJ, a certified barbecue judge, helped organize a couple contests in Southern California, and then eventually got into competition barbecue in 2022, our rookie year.
Nice. Trevor.
Yeah, I'm Trevor Jensen with Luna Barbecue. Do some competitions or done a bunch of competitions in the past, some CBS judging. Done some competitions with Anthony under Smoke Ain't No Joke Barbecue as well, and a bunch of stuff at home, some stuff on YouTube, Instagram, and other things like that as well. So love barbecue, love everything barbecue, and do everything I can.
Christy.
Hey guys, I am Christy from Girls Can Grill. I run the website girlscangrill.com and all the Girls Can Grill social media channels. I am a competitive pitmaster. I also host, I host the Barbecue Tips podcast. As Anthony mentioned, I am also the organizer for the KCBS Barbecue Jackpot competition in Las Vegas in December, which sold out super fast, but we may get a few more spaces. And then also, I am having my line of rubs come back out soon, so I'm excited to bring those to the future at this Rub Tasting Live. Thanks.
And Chrissy, I got you covered on the other thing.
Love you, man.
Yes, ma'am.
Michael.
Good evening, Mike Peterson with M&J's Barbecue. Compete in the SEA, compete against Anthony and Christy. Consider them great friends. Sometimes it's hard to say that we compete against each other because of all the help we do for each other and support. So do a little bit of catering here and there.
Okay. And Rob?
Robert Meyer from Union Grove, Wisconsin, part of Kick-Ash Barbecue and High Stakes Grilling Team. Do a lot of KCBS and SCA cooking up in the Midwest. Yeah, that's me.
Perfect. And then the man of the hour, Chris Webb. You get the big screen, buddy.
Yes, sir. Hey, Chris Webb, Bushmaster BBQ, also one of the partners of Households Barbecue Provisions. We have multiple locations nationwide. Thanks for having me tonight, guys. I know most of the faces are some of you guys who I haven't met, but I appreciate you having on. Also have my main man, Adam McNelly, back here. He's just hanging out. We're having some drinks tonight. Slow day out here. So he's just on here. He does a podcast himself with himself in his garage on a Friday night.
Very nice. All right, Chris, let's just get into it, man.
Do it.
Let's just talk about this rub. Where did this rub come from? How did it come about? You know, all the questions on why you decided to do a rub and get in the rub game.
Yeah, I mean, I know Chrissy's got rubs, and a lot of our other friends do too, right? So, I mean, the rub game, you know, is something that's very difficult. It's a difficult market, especially now, which is, I mean, it's a good and bad problem to have. I mean, I own several barbecue stores and we sell, you know, thousands and thousands of these SKUs, you know, and how could you make your product, you know, stand out on a shelf, right? Some of it, obviously, I think you have to have a little bit of credibility before you can go to the market. You can't just have rattled off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. You have to be someone that connects with people when they see you at a contest have a great experience with. Obviously, your data has to speak for itself. I think labeling and branding is another huge thing. I'll use Chrissy as an example. She does an excellent job at that. But I'm always interested, being in retail barbecue, interacting with customers every day. It's really interesting on, we'll shuffle the shelves in our stores, I would say monthly. And the reason I do that is, one, because customers will walk in, they'll go to the same spot looking for a certain seasoning. However, I want them to see more seasonings, right? It kind of helps me balance inventory that way, and then also introduce new products. But I think whenever someone walks up with a seasoning that maybe is new to the shelf, that is new to the market, or maybe somebody who doesn't have that credibility, I typically ask the consumer, I'm like, what drove you to that seasoning? Was it because it was brisket specific? Was it because it said the word tri-tip? Did it say chicken? Is that what you're looking for? Or was it, the labeling? I'll give my good friend Aaron Stoffer out of Man Meat Barbecue out of Lawrence, Kansas. He's probably one of our number one selling seasonings, and being in Colorado, where I'm primarily based out of, not a huge competition market, right? I mean, let's be real, but always ask him, what connects you to this seasoning? And he has a nice Americana with a cursive writing on his Kansas City style. It's a red, white, and blue. And that's probably one of our top sellers. So, I mean, I think sometimes I'm guilty of this, and Christy, I saw her new line and it looks great, but this is it says the word brisket on there. So I went back and forth on, kind of pigeonholing myself, for example, into that market. But I think, as cooks, right, all my staff, I can honestly say we vet every product. I know, Derek, you work closely with the West Coast. I know you and Brian do the exact same thing, but I think a lot of that is up to the sales team, right? Not that I need a sales team to necessarily sell my rub, but at the end of the day, if they're doing their job and they're providing excellent customer service is not only about providing a top level experience, it's also about educating the consumer. Okay. So I really lean on my staff to not just push my seasonings, but push everybody. And I think the cool thing about being in this industry alone is I can look on a shelf in our store, look at over 1,000 bottles of rub, and I can tell a story about every single, right? It's about relationships, about team building. It's about sharing their barbecue journey and elevating barbecue as a whole, but really speaking of volumes about my friends and the reason they're really in here.
That's awesome. And then also tell us a little bit why you decided to go with this style labeling. Labeling is one of the biggest things that people use to identify their stuff on the shelf and make it jump out. Why did you decide to go with the brushed look on your bottle versus, loud and bright colors, something really bold, things like that?
Right. Kind of going back to the branding aspect, you have to have a name, obviously, that resonates with people, and kind of going back to that. Whenever I look on the shelf, right, I see a lot of color, if I'll use Bill Purvis as an example, my good buddy from Chicken Fried Barbecue. If you look at this rub, you might see a little bit of a similarity in kind of the matte aesthetics, maybe with a glossed silver, or in his case, he was white, and then he went to more of this color silver. But I also think, first and foremost, I mean, it's a veteran-owned company. I think Sterling Smith does obviously an exceptional job of that. I was in the Army, as most of you guys know, for a long time as an infantryman during the height of OEF, OIF. And so that's something that, if you've ever met me and had a conversation with me, I'm a pretty intense dude. I cook very intensely. I teach classes very intensely. And I felt that this was sharp, clean. We were talking earlier about my haircut game. I get a haircut every week. I'm kind of that guy. I like to think of myself as brushed, polished, firm, but I want to stand out and known for a clean cook process, a clean store, a clean life, personal and professional. And the word brawler, man, I'm a brawler. In my younger days, that meant something totally different. I was that guy. You could find me somewhere close to a military base talking shit, maybe getting in a couple fights, right? But I also take that same intensity when I go compete week in, week out. I'm here to fight, right? From a business stance, running multiple small businesses, it's the exact same way. Especially given the economy we're operating in now, Nothing is giving to you. The sport and the profession that we're in, all of us, right, is definitely caters to needs, not necessarily wants. So if you know about that kind of life, you have to grind. You got to fight every single day just to make a dollar. I will point out one piece on here, right here. You'll see it. So I was a infantryman, as I mentioned. I was a Bradley Master Gunner, which, for those of you nerds at home, I would challenge you to Google that. Don't Google Master Gunner. Google Bradley or M1 Abrams Master Gunner. Honestly, it's the most mentally challenging course in the United States Army. So we're not the smartest people, but I will say this course is no joke. It pushed me to my limits mentally. It's not a physical thing. Essentially, my job was to advise. I was a brigade master gunner, so a brigade commander in charge of roughly 8,500 savages. And my job was to teach and employ weapon systems that these guys can go over, train. I came with training plans. But my point of that is, this is the actual emblem from that badge or from that belt buckle or from that identifier. So that's something that I still hold true to myself. And the word Bushmaster is the weapon system that I was on a Bradley fighting vehicle and barbecue. I'm barbecue AF. So that's a little story about that. As far as how I came up with this, I'm a really good brisket cook, right? Just fucking way it is, right? And I was using multiple seasonings, multiple layers, a lot of MSG in there. I want some pepper elements. I want it to be salt forward. I want it to be savory. But I think whenever you guys take this bottle home and put it on the meat, the way it colors, I'm a big color guy, right? This seasoning, it colors within and starts sweating within 5 minutes. It really puts a nice mahogany on this. I've also been taking around with it. It's not just a one trick pony, but chicken, man. When I switch this on my chicken straight up, I do run it through a small silver stainless steel Winco shaker because there are some larger pepper notes, as you might notice in this, and it does kind of catch some of that, but still letting some of the smaller elements on there, creating ultimately a balanced flavor. It does, in my opinion, taste a little salt forward out of the shaker. However, once it goes on meat, it really settles in. Whenever I apply this, I usually, and I do this on any rub, I don't care whose it is. I'll open up the lid and I'll really shake out probably 4 ounces or so, and then I'll give it a good shake. This rub does not take, which I'm super proud of because I get frustrated, especially if I'm down in Georgia or I'm even in Union Grove where Rob's at in Wisconsin. It's a high humidity element. So I was just cooking down in Florida with it the other day. But I use some other seasonings where they do tend to cake and clump, and I can report back that you're not going to see that any part of this. Whenever I taste a rub, I do it 2 ways. I'll shake it out. I'll put it in my hand. I'll do it that way. I'll cleanse my palate, and then I'll open it up, and I'll put it all the way in the back towards my molar because that's kind of where we develop our taste buds from. And that kind of is how I really, really kind of diagnose what I'm doing. I will say I went back 16 variations on this seasoning. I'm not 10 cheer. I didn't go 83 times. My co-packer didn't fire me. But we've had great success with this. It's only been out, not even 6 months, and we've sold roughly 3,000 units. So, and that's with minimal effort. This is not my full-time job. I have another job that keeps me really, really busy. But I just really wanted to put my name on something and something I believed in and I think can create success and hopefully camaraderie throughout the barbecue community.
Well, man, that's extremely awesome story. And want to tell you thank you for your service from the get-go, and anybody else who has served, thank you for their service as well. That's a great story behind this bottle. But I think everybody's excited to get into this. I'm already excited to taste it again because, like I said in the intro, this is probably in my top 5, one of the most favorite rubs that I've tasted. I was in Colorado about a month and a half ago, and was out there go to some sport events, stopped in at Proud Souls. This just happened to be available. I picked it up, and man, this is going to be in my cabinet forever. Everything. I am talking about everything. So let's go ahead and give this a taste, and then we're going to give him his live feedback, what we like, dislike, or, and what we want to use it on. So let's give it a taste, everyone.
So if it's brand new, remember to shake out 4 ounces.
Man, it's salty, it's sweet, it's peppery. It has a very well balanced. This is probably one of the most well balanced rubs I've ever had. You get every single note on it. You get a little bit of heat that creeps up on the back end of it. And I've used it on brisket and tri-tip, and it is amazing. Like Chris was saying, I have some tri-tips. I cooked. I'll post them with this video at some point of the color. Actually, I cooked them. Amanda rubbed them. She wants the credit for that. But the color was amazing. It's probably one of the best colored rubs I've ever experienced. So, Chris, I just got to say, this is well done. The 16 variations that you did was worth it. Every time you had to pay to get that redone, worth every penny. So good job on this. And to answer Jared O'Brien's question why we're here, you can pick it up at the Pitmaster Supply Company when he has it. He sells out every shipment. So maybe talk to him about some pre-orders or something along that.
You should be getting another round sent to him early next week.
Sweet. All right. Team, fire away.
For one, I'm going to say, love the story for the bottle. I think, like you were saying, when you look at certain bottles, you can kind of, some of them give you a story of either who it is or memories that you have with them. And just how you went over this bottle just shows the time and effort that you put into making this your product. As far as using it on brisket, the smell when I opened it up, it smelled amazing. I would love to try this on like a SEA steak, either as a taste profile or even as like a finisher at the end. I think it's just, like Anthony said, super well balanced. It does have a little bit of like a salty flavor, but that goes away. It's like once you taste it, it's like it just blends and like almost like melts. It's hard to say, but it's very, very good. And my first thought was cooking this thing on a steak, putting on a, like I said, either a taste side of my steak or as a finishing dust.
Yeah, good point, Rob.
I agree 100%.
You mentioned a great point that I failed to mention is a lot of teams are running that, as a finisher. Specifically, I'll just go ahead and tell you on chicken and brisket. I do think that plays well. I don't do SEA, but I could definitely I eat steak, so I could definitely see that playing well into that hand. So thanks for the feedback, Rob.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, Rob, I agree with you 100%. If you could maybe put this in one of those thumb grinders as a finisher, I think it's great. And because the profile that goes from salty to sweet to peppery and with a little bit of heat, and I think that would be a competitive edge for sure in the SEA. And it's a different flavor profile than anybody else is running.
And there's an MSG factor in there too. So I would caution you guys on that. I've played around with that, in a finishing standpoint, and there is enough MSG, in my opinion. Maybe if we're down somewhere super freaking hot, maybe run a little MSG just to create a more salt flavor. But I would say tread lightly on that one.
I'm a huge fan of MSG. Huge fan.
I want to touch on what Rob said, because I had the exact same experience of it like melting in my mouth. And I think what that is that you have nailed like the satiation factor. What you're talking about, how like when you put it in the back of your mouth, that's how I usually like to taste rubs too, especially when I've been doing revisions. And you just want to create that salivation. It just makes you crave it. And I think that's the melting, is that it just like makes you salivate, and then because it's so perfect. Like I don't usually like sugar with brisket, but the way that you've balanced it is perfect. It's going to bring out the sweetness of the beef, and yeah, the chilies in there are really nice. But I don't know if it's that hint of MSG or the little bit of maybe smokiness that's in there, but something just like made my mouth happy, and all the 4 notes. Definitely nice.
Thanks, Chrissy.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to say too, like, going back to what you're talking about with the marketing and everything, that was my first thought. Like right when I opened up the box, to me, it just popped. Like I was like, dang, this is like the nicest looking bottle that we've gotten so far. So to me, it's clean. It looks super nice. And I think that's probably why, because I go into the barbecue supply store and it's all just a lot of color and a lot of stuff. And yeah, this one definitely would just stand out because it's, it's shiny, it's clean, it looks super nice. So I love the marketing on it. The flavor is awesome. So it's amazing. I'm super excited to try this on a brisket, steak, tri-tip, other stuff like that. I think one thing that really makes it pop for me too, there is something real herby in there. I don't know if it's like a tarragon or something like that, but there's like some small leaves. I was like trying to pick the little leaves out to try to, find your little secret herb in there. But whatever the little herbiness in there, it's like the perfect amount, I think, to make the like beef just like totally pop too. So really great job. I love it. Me and Anthony both were huge like on the MSG train. So you can't do enough MSG in a rub to offend me. So I'm good with that.
Thanks, Trevor.
Yeah, thank you for your service. And
Yeah.
I got a nephew that's a sniper and for the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir.
Served some out in the Corps. My son's a gunsmith, so the labeling is just perfect. When I got this afternoon, my son wanted to steal the bottle. So thank you for the labeling. It's great, and I can't wait to try it on. I'm going to do some Philly cheesesteaks tonight, and I mixed up my own rub last weekend or last SEA comp. I didn't do too terribly bad, but I will sadly admit that yours kicks the crap out of mine. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to it. I like the notes. I like how that's still kind of lingering in my mouth. I kind of like that. And I think this is going to be great in the SEA. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Sorry, I have my dog.
All right, I got a pulled pork slider here.
Hey, dog daddy.
Oh, and then
I got a pulled pork slider here. I'm going to pour this on right now.
You can get my address from Anthony, and please send me 6 bottles. I'll Venmo you the cash.
How about this? I can send you a 5-pound bag. We'll call it even.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It pairs really nicely with whiskey too.
Yeah, I'm eating a pulled pork slider right now, and I just added it. Home run.
And it does good with Apple Crown.
I think one of the biggest compliments, right, is us as people who do have our own seasonings, is the people who get behind them and have success, right? I've been running this recipe independently on the side for about 2.5 years, and so that's another reason I wanted to kind of take it to market. I'm happy to say, like, Levi Stokes from Colorado Bulldog. I mean, he's sitting at team of the year first in brisket. I mean, he's one of my best friends, and he lives right down the street, and the dude has gotten behind it, and he does a great job with it. Brad Leininger, he kills it with it on brisket. Kurt Wallace from Smoked and Furious. I mean, and that's really whenever you really get feedback from these top level cooks. I mean, it's really exciting. However, I will say probably for me, just being in the retail business, man, is just seeing, an at-home cook, taking it home, maybe doing their first brisket, and then giving them the education, the times, the temperatures, the doneness levels, and then providing them, whether it's my rub, Christy's rub, whoever it is, and putting that together with Snake River Farms brisket, man. That's really what gets me excited at night, is just like, dang, man, that dude went home, nailed his first brisket, got room for it, to get better. But I mean, that's really what I like, seeing my friends and the people that I meet in my industry really having success.
That's really what makes Proud Souls and other specialty barbecue stores so special as compared to just going to like a big box store, is like you're able to tell that story. You're able to tell somebody that your brisket rub is also great on burgers and steaks, or somebody else's rub, and you're able to walk them through every step. And that's what you guys do at Proud Souls and all your different locations. That's really cool.
Yeah, thanks, Chrissy.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think with, like you were saying, with like a new cook and stuff like that, or explaining like how to use this stuff, sometimes trying to explain to a new cook, especially like a competition guy or woman, we use a lot of seasonings, whether it's like an AP rub covered with something else and then a color rub. I could literally see this as a one and done rub, whether it's brisket, a steak, anything like that. You wouldn't need an AP with this. You just layer it on, and I think it would make it taste amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that was
Well,
kind of the point.
I agree with you.
That was kind of the point whenever I did this. And I mean, what's so crazy to me about how, myself and a co-packer were able to come up with this mixture. And I challenge you guys, whenever you begin to utilize it in the next week or so, or 2 weeks, whenever that may be, season it heavy. I mean, it's a few of us joke like, I give a lot of seasonings out and stuff like that. But I'm like, that's why I started the 5-pound bag. Then I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, in one contest, most people go through almost one bottle of this. I mean, that's either one brisket or brisket and chicken. I got dudes that are substituting Smoking Guns Hot for this, in their pork and in their ribs. But you can beat the shit out of meat with this. And although it has maybe a salt forward front, for whatever it is, my au jus is never salty. It's the weirdest thing, and I don't really know why that is. I'll let the experts figure that out, the co-packers. But yeah, I agree with you, Rob, 100%. Thanks for recognizing that.
Well, like I said, I've had it for about a month and a half, and we've used it on eggs, grilled cheese sandwiches, quesadillas, tacos. I just added it to some pulled pork that I reheated here. I agree with you 100% that it can go with anything, any protein. And reason why I think that saltiness goes away, Chris, my thinking is that it has a well-balanced sugar aspect to it, and it cuts that edge immediately, and that's why you can go heavy with it and it won't bite you. That's what I think.
You know what? When you said quesadilla, it almost reminds me of like an achiote. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but like with that annatto seed with the MSG, it almost has that overtone to it, which is like a secret to so many Mexican dishes, and something that gives, when people taste it, they're like, what did they put in this? It's so good. It kind of has those overtones to it. A little secret surprise.
So this is also available. This is funny you say that. It's also available in like little 2-ounce hitters, because my wife is super, super Mexican. So she has 3 things in her purse, right? She's got a mirror, first and foremost, right? She's got one of these, and she's got a little bit of tahini. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so you can literally put it in. We use it for beer salt. We do whatever with it. So just have fun with it, man. I mean, like I said, I keep going back and forth. Do I get away from, the brisket rub? Levi Stokes asked me, does it say 01 on there because, for a Dukes of Hazzard? I'm like, well, no, hopefully there's going to be a second and a third and a fourth seasoning. But, that's a fun fact there.
Well, Derek. Sorry about the dogs. Derek, give your feedback there.
No, you're good. You're good. Just, I'll be honest, the whole time I've been sitting on here, I keep tasting it. I'm trying to find that one thing that I don't like about it, because what everybody on the panel has said, they've knocked it out of the park. I 100% agree. And then that one little tidbit as well that Chris gave, the Smoking Guns Hot, like, yeah, it's a great replacement for that, and teams using it are winning with it. So, no, if just like he was talking about, this is like definitely one of those rubs that we see in the shop where, hey, what are you looking for? This is one of those ones that we can go to, gravitate towards. And if it's their first time doing a tri-tip or something along those lines, you can recommend it because they're going to come back. And then when they do come back, they're coming back with photos. They're coming back with videos. They're talking about how the family or their neighbors loved it, and now they need to attack something else. And then they start going to the meat case like, well, now I need a flank steak, and now I need this. And so we're building those relationships, and he's nailed it with this. Absolutely. So this will bring people back. It's going to get them hooked. Everything from even the granule size, for crying out loud, just the pourability of it, how it dissolves, how it absorbs. It's on point 100%. Like I said, I don't like saying that to Chris because we all know Chris has got a big head, so he'll run with it. But you did your due diligence, man. You really did. And I know he's been working on this for a long time.
Yeah, I do have a big head. Thank you. Let me go ahead and back off another notch on that. But I mean, if you guys know me, kind of going back, I'm a perfectionist. I want clean food. I want it to look good. I want it to taste good. And I'll be honest, I partnered with Steph Franklin on this. I sent him what I would make at home, and I said, figure out how to batch it, right? In my opinion, Steph, man, good Lord. I mean, a great friend to me, a great mentor. and cooking from an early standpoint. I mean, my old brisket recipe used to be, Victory Lane before Heath Riles, right? But obviously his recipe or whatever, but the garlic jalapeno, Big Papa Smokers, his cash cow, topped with a Simply Marvelous peppered cow. I mean, when I cooked my first contest, I know some of you guys know the story, but a lot of you guys might not. But I cooked my first contest in 2011. I was an instructor at West Point at the United States Military Academy there. I was part of the DMI, a Department of Military Instruction there. And before that, I'd been deployed. I joined the Army in 2000. Yes, 2000. And obviously OEF kicked off in 01. And buddy, I was boots on the ground for a long, long time. And that was really kind of the first time that I was cooking in my backyard, and I might get a little bit good. I might be able to nail something. And then I'd go play in the desert for 12 to 15 months, come back, and then I'd get a little bit better. And then I'd go back and I got shitty again. So really I was able to kind of tinker around with stuff. But Steph's rubs were the rubs that I was using, right? I mean, and I push his product really, really hard in our stores, man, because I believe in them. I mean, I think talking about labeling, talking about branding, I always make a joke. I'm like, have you ever tried this? And they're like, this shit looked like this from 1973. If you know Steph, it makes sense because he's from 1973. I said, but here's what I can tell you confidently. I said, the dude puts all his time, energy, and his efforts and his money into finding really good products. And what I think are some of the most exciting rubs on the market, even 15 years later. So I kind of charged him with helping me really create what we're experiencing now with the Bushmaster Brawler season.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to try this with some of the Simply Marvelous, the beef, because it has the acid to it that would cut, and it would I think it'd be a great combo. I'd like to try that. But this product is definitely a standalone product. Well done. And we're waiting for your next line to come out. We're waiting for O2 to come out.
Right. It's in the works. So that's in the works right now. So sorry if I missed that question along the way, but yes, we do have an O2 coming out. It's really going to be, I felt like a guy beat me to the punch a little bit. So I'm going to have to pivot a little bit because I think none of us want to be, copy and paste barbecue cooks or entrepreneurs of some sort. But there is, and I'll tell you who it is. If you have not tried local, I can never say this, local Yokel's Sweet Salvation, I think what he's doing right there is excellent. And that'll be more of your pork, whether it's a rib, a pork chop, a pork steak, a pork butt. I mean, I think it's really, really good. Kind of my thought on that was it's really kind of brown sugar forward, which is something that I really, really enjoy. But I'll let Chrissy, and I'll pick your brain for a minute. Whenever your approach to developing seasonings, right? You have one that, I know you just went through a revamp, but you have one that's like, this is Girls Can Grill, and then we build the rest of our seasonings off of that and go and pivot left or right. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So out the gate, I mean, I had my 3 rubs, but I was consistently scoring well in pork. And so even though I bottled pork, chicken, and brisket all at the same time, my pork is what was getting me the scores over and over and over again. And I would say it's definitely been my top seller as well, just because it's different, it's sweet, it's got the color. And over time, I've wanted to evolve my chicken one a little bit. And now that I have a new co-packer and have complete control over everything, I'm able to do that, which I'm excited about. But yeah, that's definitely going to probably continue to be my signature, even when the new line comes out.
Does yours have cinnamon in it?
Mine? I don't think
Yeah.
so. I have to go look. I can't remember. My pork rub you're talking about?
Because I think cinnamon. Yeah, your pork rub. Because I think cinnamon in pork rub is I feel like it elevates it a little bit. It can't be too much, but it can just be one of those back end notes on the nose for sure. So that's just my opinion.
If it does, it's a really small amount. It's got coconut sugar, which gives it a different and unique taste. But
I mean, to your point, Anthony, I love cinnamon. I mean, here's the deal. I hate cinnamon. Like my whole house right now smells like cinnamon. You know what I mean? Like I cannot.
That's
like
the fireball cinnamon smell. Is probably.
I was out of town for a few weeks. I went and unplugged candles and different deals. But I will say, and I know Derek and Christy know this after taking my class. In my finishing powder, I fucking hate cinnamon. But I think when appropriate levels happen, I think cinnamon can elevate pork specifically, right? But I think only done in the right manner.
I did just look up my recipe. Yes, it does have a very small amount of cinnamon in it. You're right.
Yeah, I thought yours did have a little bit in there.
I don't have every ingredient memorized, so yeah.
It's all good. Well, guys, do we have any final thoughts on this other than that it's probably one of the best rubs we've tasted so far during this series?
Oh, mine is
nope.
This is one of the first rubs that I am already wanting to order, and I'm wondering where I could order this at.
Yeah, great question, Rob. So, like I said, I really didn't take this to market. Like, I essentially just came out of Rub, made a post, and if retailers want to contact me, they can contact me. If not, that's okay. But you can order it first and foremost at ProudSoulsBBQ.com. We'll ship. You would be pulling out of our Kansas City shop, so they'll ship it directly from there. Also, another great friend and one of my sponsors and mentors, Sterling Ball, BigPapaSmokers.com. And then obviously West Coast Barbecue, Iowa Barbecue Store. I mean, barbecue, Pitmaster Barbecue Supply Company. I mean, we're in roughly 25 to 30 retailers right now, as well as about 20 online outlets. But for those of you guys probably know, I cook A9 briskets. So if you do cook A9 briskets from my buddy Kevin Green down at the butcher shop, have him toss in a couple bottles. We're longtime friends and partners. He can service you as well, but we're always looking to expand. So if you like it and you're in Union Grove, you're wherever you're at in Wisconsin or anywhere else, man, just tell your local retailer to reach out to me. You can reach out to me at chris@proudsoulsbbq.com or on any social media platform outside of like this new X thing. I've heard about that. I still don't know what that means. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on a lot of stuff, but I am on Instagram and Facebook under Bushmaster BBQ and or Chris Webb.
You know, that says a lot about your street
Perfect.
cred that you've already sold 3,000 bottles with basically no marketing. I mean, that's how much it shows that people in the barbecue industry value what you're putting out there. And then obviously when people taste it, it sells itself. So really good job.
Yeah, thank you. And I think a lot of that just goes back to like, you know, you have to figure out a way, repeat customers, you know what I'm saying? And just old grassroots marketing. I mean, I think is no better than that. I got a lot of teams that are out there that I'll give them a case of rub, and when they're out and they just, here you go. Have you tried this? Which I think is, we have to get back. Social media is great. Internet's great. But I think at the end of the day, what I'm seeing right now, especially the way people are operating right now, is I think we're really getting back to more grassroots marketing. I mean, I think it's going back to a handshake and a high five more so than it is, you know, not saying interactions aren't huge and all those things, but I think if you can really put it, like I said earlier, put a face to a name and a story behind it, I said, and people believe in what you're doing, you're not an asshole, I think you're going to be okay.
Agreed 100%. Yeah, you don't have a customer until it's a repeat customer. Don't
Right.
count your customers until they repeat. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us tonight. This is awesome. I can't wait for everybody to go out there and use this and being able to tag you in the photos that they're going to be cooking with, you know, and just seeing the cool recipes that they're going to be coming up with. I'm actually going to log off and go rim a beer with this just to enjoy it that way, to see how that goes with the Corona Mexican style beer. So,
Oh, yeah. I already know.
So,
Come on, make a
all
margarita.
right, everybody. Yeah. Thank you so much for everybody who took the time to come and join on this live tonight, and everybody who commented. And we'll probably be catching you in about another month or so. All right, guys.
And thanks for your feedback.
Thank
guys.
you.
Appreciate all you guys.
Thank you,
Anything I
Anthony.
can do with your brands.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you, man.
Bye.
Yep.
Thank you.
Nice work, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.